Alrighty, hopefully we're live. I'll do a little bit of TA on, I think I've got a list of 13 coins to do tonight. So may as well get started because this might be a long one. So starting off with Bitcoin, so we're looking at it as XBT on BitMEX. The hourly, we're showing signs of some bearish potential moves down. We do have a bearish div in the histogram, a few bearish divs in RSI, bearish divs in the Williams percentage R. We have not failed in OBV yet. It seems like it's Wing off that, so these could be invalidated and we could see a push higher. Looking on higher time frame, so that's the 4 hour. We'll move to the daily. So you can see that we've broken out here, so we're kind of stalling right now. Things moving into overbought. We can see in volume here that the bulls are dropping off. The histogram is rolling over, but I would like to see some more structure in the histogram. See, this is exactly what I'd like to see, is like a retest of that top if we make a move. So say if we make a little M here like this, so if we can get that like that, and if price can move, we come down here, W back up and move up. So basically price is making higher highs while the histogram is not. I'd like to see that, more of a confirmed bearish divergence, but as of now there is no big rush to go in short on the daily here. So we could see a pullback, maybe close in this gap on the CME. I think there was a gap somewhere around 9.3 on the CME futures contract, so we could see, which would be kind of like the breakout, the Wyckoff check off these highs here for the push forward, the push up, sorry. But yeah, not much to see here on the longer time frames. On the shorter time frames, I don't really want to go into too much detail on the shorter time frames, but that's what I'm basically seeing on the daily. So moving on to our first batch of alts is we have Drgn. So this is Drgn on KuCoin. I will bring up, where have I got here? So, okay. So this is what I was talking to about one of my TAs in my group, is that we were actually, oh okay, so that candle today, we were holding this 200-day period moving average, and it seems like this candle today has actually blown past it. So if we can actually close above this, I will still be calling this kind of like a reload zone or buy zone. So basically I've drawn a fib from the swing low to the swing high. We like to buy things in the reload zone, which is between the 618 and the 786. So you can see we are in location. We are getting some internal signals showing bullish divergence in the histogram. OBV, we still haven't seen any kind of W action. We could see like a little W here. We need to cross over the 13-day moving average here to be bullish. Like, this is what I mean. So we can see this nice little W. So this nice little W here, and bang, nice breakout. So yeah, you can see where when it M's out and we cross down, it's so basically this is it here. So we've got an M, and you can see that in OBV, such a powerful indicator there. We can see volume is dropping off. Technically the bears are still in control, so we still have no reversal yet. I would like to see, as a trader's point of view, more or less someone putting in this bottom, where I'd like to see a double bottom. So technically right now we are still bearish because we have not broken the trend yet. I'll get rid of this 200 MA. So we have not broken this. We can go off of this high, or we can go off of this here. So technically we haven't broken out of this trend here yet. So what I would like to see is, and it probably would develop, if we do kind of trade sideways, break out, we will come back out here, and if I can get a W on the other side of this trend line, this is probably where my buy would be. But if you're more like a long-term investor, this is kind of the area that I'd be looking at, between the 558 sat and the 760 range. You can see the 768, we kind of meet support around here. I wouldn't actually mind throwing in like an 88.6 fib in. So if we do like a 0.86, so you can see this 886 fib right here lines up with previous market structure, this market bottom here. So that's actually not a bad idea if price does continue lower. But internally it's showing me some bullish signs. Bullish in histogram, bullish in Williams percentage R, bullish in RSI. This was actually quite a good win for us a while ago. If you do want to check out my TradingView account, I'll leave the link in the description below. But this is where we were buying. So this was our first buy, this was our second buy, and we did manage to get I think it was around 300%. Yeah, there we go. So from our initial buy, it was like 380, 300. Well, I banged out three doubles anyway, so I'm on a free position from, can't remember where it was, somewhere here, but yeah, got 200% profit on this, which was really good. But wouldn't mind grabbing a bit more of this on the way down, as long as we can break this. But it does look bullish internally, but again, it all depends what Bitcoin wants to do. If Bitcoin rallies, we'll probably see price drop a little bit further. Yeah, so that's Drgn. Moving on to Golem, or GNT. This is looking at it on Bittrex. So you can see that we've had a very long-term consolidation from July 2019, basically trading sideways, and this is on the weekly chart. Basically trading at the bottom of volume, bottom of value on volume profile. So the weekly is showing us some bearish divergence here on the histogram. I'm not sure why it's showing us that. Let's have a look at price. We'll zoom in a little bit more. So yeah, I'm not sure why it's showing us that, but OBV is, wow, I very much like that. So someone has been accumulating. We can see OBV rising. So this is the zero level here. Money has been pouring into Golem since May 2018, continually rising here. I do like to see that while price is going down, on balance volume is moving higher. So it does look like we are kind of in no man's land, both in Williams percentage R and RSI. If I was to be a buyer of this, I would be. So we can see some real violent moves here. So if we do like our reload zone here, so if we do swing low to swing high, I'll get rid of that 88.6. We can keep it there. That's if you want to be like real bargain hunting, is the 88.6 level. So you can see the rule of wicks and tails. So these are some really large tails here. Wicks and tails like to be filled in around 92% of the time. You can see price rallied, came back down, and right into filling these wicks. So I expect nothing less for this area right here. So I wouldn't mind if this came into here. if we did see some violent moves in Bitcoin, you could even potentially look for somewhere around the 88.6 fib level. I mean, if you want to be conservative, conservative is the 618. A little less conservative, the 786. Or if you want to be a complete tight ass like me and love setting up my stink bids, the 0.886 fib looks quite well. Just trying to look for some gaps around here. Did we leave any gaps on the way up? So it shows that we do have a tiny gap here, which actually coincides with the bottom of this wick. So if I was to put a bid in, I'd probably be looking at somewhere around the 417 sat mark. Yeah, histogram on the daily seems like it's made a lower low, so I do see this kind of rolling over. We're getting some bearish divergence in OBV. Bulls are still in control here, but so many other bearish signals happening here, so definitely not a buy currently where it is. I would like to see it come back down and either fill in that tiny little gap or to fill in that wick there. So moving on, I know this is going to take a while, guys, but hopefully it'll be worth it for you guys. Looking at RVN versus BTC on the weekly chart, so we are very much zoomed out. Thinking of putting that on silent, but yeah, you can see that in the Williams percentage we are heavily oversold in the red region. So basically I've set this, or one of my TAs has built this indicator to actually show me when it's oversold and overbought. So in the red, we have been currently oversold since March of this year. We are seeing a little bit of coiling in the histogram, nothing much to see there. We are kind of looking a bit bullish here on the RSI. OBV still looks pretty good. Daily, let's zoom in. This will probably be roughly our entry levels. So to note as well, we have blown past the low and its current low as well. So we have broken this low here. So this is a little bit dangerous in this situation here. So basically this is the low. If we change it to some line chart, you can see a nice little W actually coming in here. So someone wanting to put the bottom in have made a lower low in the histogram from here. I'm not sure if we do create maybe another little low here, which will create some bullish divergence in our histogram. But we already do have a potential bullish divergence in the histogram here. So this is making a lower high while price is making a lower low, which technically is bullish divergence there. So if you did want to buy RVN currently where it is now, your stop loss would have to be at this low here, because once it breaks the lows, it's technically in no man's land. So I don't know, would I trade this? Maybe. I would like to see someone else put a low in. We still have this W is coming in, but in order for us to confirm this bottom, I would like to see a breakout of this W. So you can see right now we have kind of come to this point. Do we roll over or do we break out? So you can actually see it right now flattening off. So this is what I would like to see happen is I'd like to see that W come in, break out, Wyckoff check this top here, and then continue on higher. So this would probably be my entry. If I can see a breakout, I'd wait for the Wyckoff check, enter on previous market structure here, and set your stop to the low. Alrighty, man, this is going to be a long video. Let's keep moving. Iota, wow, okay. You can see that this has been trading sideways since August 2019. We are currently sitting at the POC, or the point of control on volume profile. I do like the look of this RSI long term. You can see that price is making lower lows while the RSI is not. Not much to see in histogram. We'll move over to the daily chart. Set that to auto. So straight away I can see that we have a nasty tail here on Binance. I'm pretty sure most of the volume coming in is from Binance. So if we were to look for an entry, get your fib, work it off the tail, swing low to swing high, and you can see right here we've come into that buy zone. I mean, that tail is literally in no man's land, so don't be surprised if we do see price drop back down, maybe to the 886 fib. What are we seeing? This is a lower low in histogram. So we have made higher highs and higher lows here in price, but we are getting some divergence here. So you can see price has made a higher high here. So you can also see that there is bearish divergence there, and it has been confirmed. So I don't see Iota moving up any higher from here. If anything, I would like to see it come back down into the reload zone. Don't forget we have this giant wick here. So yeah, I would like to see this come back down anyway. That was Iota. Moving on to MTL metal. This looks actually quite nice. Sitting at the point of control. Looking at some bearish divergence here in the histogram. Sometimes these signals on a higher time frame, like the weekly, bars for the histogram are still continuing to be printed. So I'll probably ignore this bearish divergence. We are heavily oversold here on the Williams percentage R. I would like to see a W. No structure coming in yet on the weekly. You can see this well-defined W here, where we've W'd, broke out, come back down, rechecked, and continued on. So moving on to the daily chart. Yeah, this is actually not too bad. I do like the OBV. Let's have a look at this. Yeah, OBV is still growing, still in the positive territory. Zeros all the way down here. So this is good. Money is flowing into this asset. What do we see? Okay, we do see some potential bullish divergence here. So if you were to buy this in the current location where it is now, it's actually not too bad. You do have a few lows here to work with. So I don't know, your stop loss would probably be somewhere maybe a sat or two below whatever this low is here. Let's have a look. So at 2270, my stop loss will be a few sats below that. But again, if you wanted to be a little bit more conservative, I'd probably be waiting for some structure to come into price. So I'm not sure if this is probably going to roll over. We could come back down to test this low, but like you guys probably already know, I would like to see some sort of W action, like a nice little double bottom, like here. You can see a W here, and it did break out. Wyckoff check of that W, move sideways, and you'll see it. Like here, a nice little W, and you can see breakout. A nice W here, a little bit bigger. Bang! You always have opportunities for entry. Right now, I don't think I don't see an entry yet. But when you actually zoom out and see the potential profit that could be made if you just bought from where you did as an investment sort of strategy, the potential growth here is just phenomenal. So if we bought from current price, and we just say we work to this high here, you know what I mean? You're looking at like 2,000% as if you're going to like hodl a coin through the next bull cycle. So if you want to be conservative, you can buy now. If you want to be more tight, I'd probably be looking for some more structure in order to come in. But yeah, that was metal. Moving on to Solve. Yes, or SOL. This is on Bittrex. Pretty sure it's on KuCoin and Huobi, I think. But yeah, you guys can check that out anyway. This actually doesn't look too bad. What's the weekly look like? So this wick eventually will be filled in at some time. So I do like the look of this. Alrighty, so you can see even if we do get to, so that's the weekly. We're still not oversold on the weekly yet. If we do zoom in on the daily doesn't look too bad. And you can see where the 88.6 lines up with previous market structure. We are currently holding the support of this area here. I mean, there is a fair bit of support here, so again, if you want to be conservative, you can buy now or you can wait. You know, we do still have this tail here that needs to be resolved. OBV volume is dropping off. Still no W. Would like to see a nice W in there. We do have potential bullish divergence in our histogram. So you can see price has made a lower low here, while histogram, if I can get this, there. We'll change this to green. So you can see the potential bullish divergence there. I would like to see a break of histogram above this level. So if we can come up, break above this, come back down, we could get our entry point there. Again, we're kind of in no man's land, still trying to set some sort of bottom here. You can see that they tried to bottom it in here, it failed. So if we can get a nice W breakout, Wyckoff check, that'll be my entry. But as of now, I don't see much on the lower time frame. But as a long-term hodl, this does look actually very, very good. So the potential growth for this is pretty good. All right, that was Sol. Moving on to Tron, Mr. Justin Sun's coin. So this on Binance is actually looking not too bad. We are trading at below value, which is pretty good. You can see the volume profile is slowly looking to be full. So if we zoom in on a lower time frame, current location is actually pretty good. It has been trading sideways in this range, and when I talk about range, I mean when it's in a certain box, if you'd want to call it that. So if we go from the high to the low, so this is basically our range. So you can see it'll trade within that range. We'll technically call it a bull once it breaks out of this range. So currently we are in that reload zone. So this is our box, green boxes. What do we see in histogram? Histogram has made a lower low, so we could potentially come back down if you did want to put maybe like an 88.6 0.886 fib here. We could be working off this structure low. We've got this low to work off as well, so that's around the 152 sat range. But when you zoom out and to see, the potential growth of this. You can see how much TR I've did this in the past. So yeah, so potential growth is in this area here. If we did want to, so if I get that, this would be the low here. So this would be basically our take profit area. So yeah, potential growth for this as well. Looks pretty good. So from current price, that's not really current price, but to the 618, if you want to be conservative, is 280%, which looks reasonable. OBV on the weekly still looks bullish. We have passed the 0 mark, so we are still bullish. So that's basically Tron. Moving on to VTC. This looks quite nice, actually. I'm not sure what the volume is like, because I think VTC is only trading on Bittrex. I might be mistaken, but anyway, technically this looks really good. So we are currently price sitting at the point of control on volume profile. So we have made a full market retrace, and you can see by its usual pattern, you see this nice great big pump, we come back down, consolidate. You can see it comes back down. It has held this bottom in really nicely. So you can see consolidating, pumps back up, come back down. So could we see a replicated move of these two moves again? Most definitely. You can see that this. How many days have we got here? So if I go to date range, so from its high to, I guess it's kind of breakout level. So this is high. So we are kind of overdue for one. It's the consolidation on it has been quite big. So I'll definitely be buying some of this and risking. Actually, no, I won't. To be honest with you, this won't be a stop loss for me, because I'll only nanny nibble this. And this will probably be one of my sell halves on doubles strategy. So can you get 100% off this trade? Let's do a price, currently off price. Oh my goodness, this is ridiculous. So I can't even get it to 100%. There we go, 106. So you tell me, do you think we can bang out a double on VTC? This is a no-brainer for me. So if I can bang out a double, meaning sell half my position, which basically gives me back my initial investment. From there, from our 100% level, which was around about there, if we move to this high, everyone thinks that I'm a maniac when I start talking about 1000%. It's possible, very possible. If we do something around, say, our kill zone or take profit zone, if we work it to the 618, what is it? 650%. That's 650% basically for free after I've taken out my initial investment on this. Crazy profits to be made, but I do have to stress it does come with time. Any technical analysis that will tell you, on such and such date or such and such hour, this will be pumping to this level. They're either pump and dumpers on a Telegram group, or they have extremely big bags and they know what they're going to do with this coin. But basically, I really, really like this. So if we zoom down on a lower time frame, we do have some bearish divergence here on both. If you wanted to be super tight on entry, we do have we could enter here in this green box. So the 786, which is 98 sats, is it? No, 2098 sats. Yeah, 2098 sats, which would probably fill in this tail too. So yeah, that is VTC. This will be a nice long-term hodl for me if I can get that 100%. And is it reasonable? 100% it is. 100%. So yeah, VTC, no brainer for me. I will be setting bids later on. Waves. So looking at waves on the weekly, you can see that they are trying to create a bottom here, kind of in no man's land. This would have been a beautiful time to buy right here. You can see so much bullish divergence coming in here, but obviously there is always a time to buy, but patience will be required. So if we zoom in here on the daily, histogram has made a lower low. Has it broken these lows though? So it hasn't broken this low, it's broken all the other ones. So let's have a look. So we could come back down. Let's draw our fibs and we can figure this out. Okay, so we could see it potentially come back down to the 618, and you can see how these wicks and tails are so important. There was this tail right here, and price came back down to fill in this tail. So looking for any other gaps. Do we have any gaps on the weekly? We have a gap here that's been filled. Have a gap there. Do we have a gap here somewhere? No. Weekly gaps have all been filled. Bulls are technically still in control here, so we could hold this level. The POC of this range, you can see, okay, the POC is sitting there. So let's just work off just this range itself. So the POC is sitting right here. So I would like to see it come into our green box between the 618 and 786. So that's roughly 9858 if you want to be exact to the 786 fib, which will give you this bottom to play with and this sort of support here. So that's probably what I'm looking at waves, but long term waves looks really good for growth here. They have put in the bottom, so this looks quite nice. So for a long term hold, waves looks pretty good. Moving on to XEM or NEM. This has been in consolidation since September 2019, so we've been trading sideways for a good, or nearly a good year. So the current price in the current histogram has broken every low except for this one, which would be this right here. Interesting. So that means we could come back down and retest this low here. You can see that we have come down. No real structure in price here. Like you can see this nice little W that came in here that they marked the bottom. Actually, it's a W within a W. So you'll see this as a W. So that'll be a W there, and you can see this little W here. So that's a W within a W, which was actually quite a nice little trade setup there. So yeah, what do I see with NEM? I could see it potentially coming back down to these levels, but if we did do a swing low to swing high, you can see we've come back down, even touched this 886 fib right here. Do we have any gaps? Have a gap. We do have a gap here. So I'm guessing price came down here to fill in that gap. But technically this gap is not filled in yet because we do not consider wicks and tails as gaps being filled in. We need the whole body of the candle to fill in that gap. So could I see this coming back down a little bit more? Yeah, which would give us a nice bullish divergence here in the histogram. Alrighty, We need to move this along. We have 3 left. So MUE, this is an old school coin. So this is monetary unit. This actually looks quite nice on the weekly chart. You can see we've come back down. Wow, we have come back down a full retrace. We are currently sitting at the POC, huge notch in volume profile, which signals that price could potentially come back up to fill in that notch, or even at most value high. So if we did like a current price, which is 56 sats, I'll try and get this around. We'll just do 50 sats. What's the top of values? Like 3,000%. Even if we go into that notch in the POC is 1,800%. It's pretty ridiculous when you think about it. On the weekly, bulls are in control. This OBV, oh my goodness, this just looks so beautiful. Continual money pouring into this asset since, wow, 2017. That is crazy. We did have it oversold here for quite some time. This would have been quite the entry here. But we did make a lower low, so even potentially buying where it is currently. Okay. So you can see it is making a W here. We'll see if it breaks out. If it breaks out, Wyckoff check off of here, off the 56 sat range. But if this is a long-term hodl, this is actually quite nice. And you can see what I mean by the Wyckoff check. So we've made this nice W, broken out. You can see the M came in here, broke, I guess, I don't know what you'd call it, the bottom of the M. But we've come back down. We're starting to W again. But this is that Wyckoff check. So we've W'd, broke out, come back down to check this here. And could we continue on higher? It actually looks quite nice. So I'm really liking this, even as a long-term investment. If it's like a nanny nibble, sell halves on doubles. I don't think we've spoken about this, but I'll basically show you. Let's have a look. So from current price, I want to see if we did buy right here, where would our 100% be? So if we did our risk reward to the top of that 100% to the bottom, do we get a 2-to-1? Yes, we do. We actually get a little bit more than 2-to-1. So you can see the risk reward here. So you'd be risking to the low in order to get paid double. I'm not sure if I explained that. Actually, yeah, probably didn't explain that too well. But this is how I work mine. If my trade doesn't set up as a 2-to-1, or as other people like to call it, a 1-to-2 risk reward. So for every dollar that I risk, I want to be paid a minimum of $2. So if we do bang off a double here, which is very possible, I let the rest ride, and you can see the potential growth for this is phenomenal. So if this story has a good fundamental backing on it, this is going to absolutely kill it in the bull market. But these are one of those coins that people very rarely ever talk about. But this is a great find by Peter, and I quite like this. So this is definitely nanny nibbles. Moving on to KMD. I did swing trade this a few times actually. I think it was twice. So where was it? So I swung trade this move up here, and I did this up here. So it was a nice little move, but we will be working off the daily chart. You can see that they are holding this bottom in. So we've got support here, support here, support. OBV looks really healthy. Actually, we are getting some. Very few alts are actually doing this. Most alts have actually histograms have broken lows. While this has broken this low, it hasn't broken this, or it hasn't broken this, or it hasn't broken this. And you can see that it actually looks quite good. Has it broken this? Oh, it has broken this. Okay, that would have been a great little potential bullish divergence here. So I would like to see something like this, where we can get some sort of bullish divergence in there. Maybe price comes back down to kind of fake this dump here. So price could roll over, make a lower low. So if we get a lower low in price, but we don't, but we get a lower high in our histogram, that's some nice bullish divergence there. We do have this wick to play with, but when you look at it from a long-term buy perspective, your low is right here. I mean, if you wanted to really look at our risk reward, so we're risking to this low here. Where could this potentially go? So if we did a swing, I'll just do this freehand. So swing high to swing, this was the low. So if we do come back up even to like the 382, this will give us a 10 to 1 risk reward, you know, or even if you wanted to work off of this high, swing high to swing low, and you're working off that 618, or even if you wanted to go to the 50% level, that's a 2.67 to 1 risk reward. All depends how you want to do it, if this is going to be a long-term hold or if this is just a short swing trade. But yeah, this is actually not a bad buy, risking to these lows here. So that would be your low. Anyway, moving on. Last one is Stratus. Everybody knows that this is my baby, I guess, if you want. I've been in Stratus for quite some time now, so you can see accumulation from August, so nearly a whole year. We have broken up above this range, so we have been bouncing in this range for quite some time. We did break out, we have come back down in. You can see that price is making, it's very well defined here. This will be some cool volume impetus learning here. So you can see that price has made a higher high. You got 1, 2, 3, and you can see here 1, 2, 3, and they have all been on lower volume. So you can see here price made a higher high, volume didn't. Price made another higher high, volume did not. And you can see that with histogram too. Bearish divergence there. I'd like to say this doesn't scare me, but this is what a lot of alts look like. That histogram has blown all these lows out. So this will take some time to play out. Strat could come back down to play the very bottom of this range. So we could see this. This actually looks like a potential head and shoulders here. So if we do take that, so roughly from the head to the neck, back down to here, I wouldn't like to see that happen, but I mean, this is, I don't know why this happened. This is why I got a question mark here, because this wick went all the way down to 300 sats. Some wicks are just absolutely ridiculous, where I don't know if someone had really low trading volume on Binance and just absolutely fat fingered this, but whoever did that has lost a lot of money by doing that. So I would like to say that we have created some sort of bottom here, but I don't know about this tail. I don't think the tail actually shows up on Bittrex. So Bittrex has the most data, and you can see on Bittrex it hasn't, that fat-fingered person hasn't caused any problems here. But it looks like we have wick down here, so we could potentially come down back to like the 6160 or 3160. So 3100 region. We could come back down to test the bottom of the range again. And if we zoom out and see the actual potential growth of this is just beyond ridiculous. So to the very low, so if we did like a price range, I'm pretty sure that I had swing high to swing low. If we did do like a 50%, I mean, these are just ridiculous numbers, like 5,000%. That's crazy. But it has, on Bittrex, because Bittrex has the most data, done a full market retrace. You can see prices come all the way back down, just like Mu, that monetary unit, VTC. All these old school Bittrex coins have come back down into their previous support levels, and all of them, nearly all of them, are sitting right at the point of control, which is just freaking awesome. Could we, let's say, conservative top of value? If we do get, that's 1400% growth. I mean, if you can get your bang out a double, get your initial investment back, let this ride, there's just so much money to be made here. But yeah, anyway, that is it for the TA side of things. I don't think I went into kind of entry areas for this, but what I'd be looking at is somewhere to fill in this wick. So somewhere around the I think I did. It's been a big day today, guys. Sorry. So 3,600 sats. Let's go to Binance. So if we did want to look for an entry for this, I'd want to swing low to swing high, and you can see that this 786 looks quite good too, or you could even go the 50% levels in there. Okay, so the 786 looks quite nice. Again, you can buy. I'd be looking somewhere in that green box. There's a fair bit of structure in here. Don't be surprised if we do come back down to retest these lows. But yeah. Anyway, that is Stratus. I do want to say that all these coins will depend on these potential moves will depend on what Bitcoin does. So we've seen whether Bitcoin moves higher, alts drop in value, Bitcoin parabolically drops lower, alts go lower. So make sure you guys trade your plan, or plan your trade, trade your plan. But yeah, be very mindful that we are in very dangerous territory here with Bitcoin. Technically, we are in kind of no man's land, because we have broken these highs, and this could potentially run. We could run up to this high here, which is 12.1. We could potentially run up to this high, which is 13.7, 14,000. So yeah, currently right now, I'd like to see what the bulls are doing. You can see that the bulls are in control of volume, so we could get another check and move higher, guys. So be prepared for that as well. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. If you want me to do some more TA on whatever coins you're holding or wanting to trade or looking to trade, please comment below, and don't forget to subscribe, guys. I'll catch yous next time. Thanks.